Welcome to episode 11 of the Total Bro Sports Podcast.
Welcome to TotalBroSports. Today for our news, the 2021 Combine kinda canceled. Jaguars hire former Florida and Ohio State Urban Meyer. Jets hire defensive coordinator from the 49ers, Robert Sala. Falcons hire Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Chargers hire Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. Patrick Mahomes goes in concussion protocol. Mets GM Jared Porter let go after sending explicit photos and text to journalists while with the Cubs in 2016. Kyrie Irving rejoins the Nets.
5-minute fire, divisional round edition.
Rams looking for an upset while playing the number one offense. The Packers were too good for a studded Rams defense. They were screaming like the QAnon shaman from the Capitol of how many points they gave up. Goff had a rough day, getting sacked 4 times. And Ramsey getting frustrated, and he couldn't defend Devonta Adams because he allowed 1 touchdown and 66 yards. The Rams should go to Spain and doing a running of the Rams. They lose 32-18.
Ravens at Bills. Despite coming into the game with a prolific offense that put up 29.3 points per game during the regular season, the Ravens failed to muster any offensive rhythm throughout the game. Buffalo and Buffalo Mania kept these birds caged, keeping the Ravens out of the end zone for the entire game. Lamar Jackson struggled passing through much of this matchup, throwing for 162 yards and a pick, an interception that resulted in a pick six, which virtually ended the game in this low-scoring affair. Josh Allen did his best impression of Jim Kelly and did just enough for the W. Bills send the Ravens packing 17-3.
Browns at Chiefs. Coming off their first playoff win since 1995, the Browns were looking to pull off another upset. However, they fell behind early, and their scoring opportunities fell flat with a touchback and an interception right before and after halftime, respectively. Despite Patrick Mahomes suffering from a concussion, the Chiefs were able to keep their lead as backup QB Chad Henne was able to run 13 yards straight to a 22-17 win over Cleveland, sending them to the AFC Championship game again.
Bucks at Saints. You could tell this one was going to be interesting from the start as the two oldest quarterbacks in the league battled it out. The fable of this game was turnovers, specifically Saints turnovers. Despite a truly historic career, Drew Brees did not show up against the Bucs. In what appears to have been the final game of his career, Drew Brees tossed 3 interceptions, the last 2 of which in the fourth quarter, with the Saints trailing 23-20. Brady played like his usual self, protecting the football and throwing for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. The all-25 Bucs beat the Saints 30-20. Now, let's have a discussion on the upcoming games, the NFC and AFC Championship. First, Bucs at Packers. What do you guys think about that one?
I personally believe the Packers are looking for some revenge. They got humiliated last time, but I believe they'll do a better job. And plus, the Bucs have a really bad passing defense. So I think Rodgers can definitely pull it off with Adams.
Yeah, I definitely see that as a possibility. You know, the pass game for Green Bay should be good, but you know, the Bucs played pretty well last time. I mean, they picked off Brees 3 times. Antoine Winfield looked good. Devin White, the linebacker, he got a pick late. So they might be able to show up against the Packers, but overall, I think the Packers should take this one.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I totally agree with what you two said. Yeah, despite this being Tom Brady and the Bucs with those receivers, I think the Packers' offensive attack will just be too much because Aaron Rodgers has been, Aaron Rodgers this year.
I don't know. I think that the Bucks still have a chance in this game. I like what Ben said in the previous episode. I'm not one to count Tom Brady out in the playoffs. And I know the
Yeah.
Packers, there's this big hullabaloo around them. They have 484 yards of offense per game. But at the same time, the Bucks also have a great defense and those two Pro Bowl linebackers in Levante David and Devin White. And the Bucks did best the Packers the last time they played.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they frustrated Aaron Rodgers by intercepting him early. So I don't know. I think that the Bucks could edge the Packers out in this game. I think it's going to be a close game.
No, I think the Packers are looking for some sweet revenge.
Yeah, and what Coach Matt LaFleur said on the Week 6 loss to the Bucks, he said, quote, "We've come a long way from that day." So you can obviously tell that they've got their confidence back. I mean, they've only lost 2 games since that point, and they came pretty early. So they're on a good win streak. I think the Packers – yeah, Brady's incredible, of course, but I think the Packers will be too much for the Bucks to handle on this one.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'd say my score prediction for this game would probably be Packers, I'd say 38-28.
I think the Packers are going to eke this one out. It won't be pretty, but I think they'll eke it out. I think I'm going with the Packers 27 to 23.
Only a 4-point difference.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
going to go with the Bucks 31-28.
What the fuck are you thinking?
All right, let's chill with the explicit talk here. I don't know, I'm a contrarian. If we all agree, this would be a pretty boring podcast. So the Bucks, I just believe in them. They have come a long way. They closed the season out winning 5 games
beating
straight.
shitty teams.
Still, they won. They bested the football team, who had a really good defense, and then they won this past
They beat the
week.
Saints.
Yeah, they beat the Saints this past week. I think they got the momentum. I think they're going to go in and knock Green Bay off its high horse and win.
Do you think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl if they have to play them?
Hold on. Well, let's get to the next matchup before we start talking about the Chiefs.
No, the Packers have a really good offense. I've seen them. They are methodical. Rodgers and Adams are a great 1-2 punch. Aaron Jones is threatening. He runs the ball up and down, and plus, you worry about Adams, bam, you got Lazard. Bam, you got MVS. And, they are dangerous.
Yeah, well, the same can be said for the Bucks offense. You worry about Mike Evans. Bam, you got Chris Godwin. Oh, you worry about Chris Godwin? Bam, you got Antonio Brown, who, by the way, was one of the best deep threat receivers in the league before he decided to go crazy. But now it seems like he's returned and
being more
he's
normal.
humble. And I don't know. I think Antonio Brown is starting to heat up. The Bucks have too many offensive weapons. I would argue even more offensive weapons than the Packers. I think it's just the strength of the Packers scheme that has got them this far. And like I said before, not counting Brady out in the playoffs, he can take. The Packers have a good defense, but not a defense that Brady hasn't seen before.
Oh. Okay.
All right, moving to the next game. What do you guys think on the AFC side of things? Bills at
Okay, long story short, I'm going to say this as clean English as possible. If Pat Mahomes is playing, they're going to win in a high-scoring game, 38-31. But if he's not there, the Bills are going to go and and lose the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there too, because although Chad Henne looked, very encouraging last week, I don't think he'll be enough to stop, or I don't think that it'll be enough to take down the Bills. Josh Allen's been incredible all year. Stephon Diggs he has the most receiving yards. He's been incredible, and the Bills definitely have a good defense to go along with that. So it'll be really, really interesting to see if Mahomes will actually play. Yeah, if Mahomes doesn't play, I don't think Chiefs are winning this. But if he does and he's healthy, I don't know. I think it'll be a close one. I guess I'll go Bills like 38-35 right now because there's a lot of uncertainty around the Chiefs, and I think I'll have to go Bills in this one.
No. The Chiefs are going to win.
Okay, now give us your reasons why the Chiefs are
They
going to
have
win.
a stacked offense, for crying out loud. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be back. Le'Veon Bell. Second fastest in the NFL. Travis Kelce, McCall Hardman, they're speedsters. And on defense, you got the Honey Badger, you got Chris Jones. Well, those are the two that stand out as really good. And they will slow down the Bills, and it's going to be the Honey Badger on Diggs, and I think the Honey Badger will get under his skin.
That is true.
I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs, they do have an excellent offense, but the past 3 weeks they've scored 17, 21, and 22. It's not like they've been going crazy lately. Like the Bucs.
Oh no, they benched their starters in the last game.
True. That's true, definitely. But I just think the way the Bills have been playing, and they got all the momentum. Allen's obviously being healthy, I think, makes a huge difference. If there wasn't any concerns around Mahomes' health, I would definitely pick the Chiefs. But because
Yeah, Jack, you mentioned all those offensive weapons, but the key piece to that is Mahomes. And if he is back, then for sure that's a Chiefs victory right there. But if he's not, I'm saying that's a Bills win.
Yeah, Mahomes is kind of the wild card here. And yeah, he looked pretty bad initially when he got up from that hit. But apparently he was running into the locker room, once he got off the field. So, yeah, it really comes down to whether Mahomes can come back. If Chad Henne is in, yeah, the Bills will win. And this is another case of where the teams have played before in the regular season. I don't know. I think that, I just can't see the Bills winning this game. I'm going to have to side with Jack on this one. I agree with assuming that Patrick Mahomes is in this game, the Chiefs will win this game because of their just sheer offensive magnitude and the brilliance of Patrick Mahomes. I just can't see the Bills winning, especially at times when their defense just shuts down and commits tons of unforced errors.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to the NFL coaching hires this week? We've had, 4 of them?
Yeah.
So I think we'll start with Urban Meyer, who's now a member of the Jaguars organization.
I think he'll turn the franchise around a little bit, but I don't really count on it. They're the Jaguars, for crying out loud. They're just bad, but they're going to draft Trevor, and if he can develop him well, I think they might improve this year. But they.
Yeah.
I could not hear anything past they will improve this year.
No, they will improve this year, but they won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think, the Jags were terrible last year, and they have been terrible since losing a double-digit lead to the Pats in the AFC Championship in 2017. But a huge problem with them was because they're under Tom Coughlin's ownership. And Tom Coughlin was, they said 25% of the complaints from players to the NFL Players Association were from the Jaguars. And there was a lot of, the NFLPA actually, there's a whole article I read about it. They were telling players not to go to the Jaguars because of all their, uncertainty. And the coaches are terrible. Coughlin wasn't good. So they just had a bad experience. A lot of people have had bad experiences in Jacksonville. So it's just not a very attractive free agent spot. I don't think Urban Meyer will make a huge difference. He's a great coach. He was 65-15 at Florida and won multiple national championships, but he has no NFL experience, and I just don't think he's going to be able to turn it around that fast.
But also keep in mind that Coughlin is actually gone.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying now that they're out of the reign of Coughlin, it'll be definitely a better for the Jags, but I just still don't think it's going to be this huge swing of things in the next few years.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a long rebuilding campaign.
Yeah, I think they could get 4 or 5 wins next year, though, just assuming that Trevor Lawrence comes in and performs up to his standards. But I don't think they'll make the playoffs in the next few years, or maybe never under the Urban Meyer era.
Ouch for the Jaguars after hearing that. Yeah, it just seems like they have a huge culture problem over there. Like with what you said, 25% of the complaints. And it's also Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's not Los Angeles. It's not New York. It's Jacksonville.
One of the smallest markets in the league has
I was thinking about that. Like, our teams with smaller markets, do they generally underperform? And I was thinking, but then we look at the Packers, and they've consistently done well.
Yeah. I think it's because the Packers have really good management.
Also, I'd argue the Packers have a larger market than Jacksonville because they arguably represent all of Wisconsin.
No, it's not true.
No, I like that point, though, by Kai. They do have the whole state. Like Jacksonville, they have three or four teams. Every sport has multiple teams for Florida. So the Jacksonville really is – they don't really think about that when you think of Florida sports. But if you think Wisconsin sports, it's only the Bucks and Packers.
Yeah, are there is there another team in the NFL that has a market size comparable to Jacksonville?
I can't think of one right now. Let me I mean there's I'd say the Chargers based off their attendance, but
yeah, but then at the same time they're in LA.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, maybe?
No, Las Vegas is a lot bigger than Jacksonville.
How about the Titans?
That's pretty comparable, but I don't know. History also shows that Jacksonville's never been good. So
I think the Saints. Oh, I think the Saints market might be slightly.
Saints as well. Okay. I don't know.
I think the market is slightly bigger.
Urban Meyer, we're talking about changing the culture because it's not just bringing a new quarterback over there or changing the coach. There has to be a huge cultural shift down there. And Urban Meyer seems like someone who's bounced around a little bit. I know he spent time with Alex Smith when he was in
Utah.
What, Utah? Yeah.
They had arguably one of the best non-Power 5 seasons ever with Alex Smith. He went number 1. They were 12-0. And he's been at Bowling Green, and then at Florida and Ohio State.
Yeah, why has he bounced around so much?
The reason why he left Florida originally was because he's had a lot of health concerns. He really has if you can see him on the side, there's videos of him on the sideline just keeled over. He's had a lot of health concerns, and there's also been some controversies. I know Tennessee. I don't know if you guys heard, but University of Tennessee got busted today for giving recruits money in McDonald's bags.
Wait, so when did this happen?
This came out today. It's crazy.
Wait, there was something in Tennessee?
Yeah, you can look it up. There's a whole scandal. They were giving recruits money in McDonald's bags.
Wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer has been associated with some of those types of scandals?
Well, I think there was some sort of I don't know. My point of saying that was that there's a lot of fishy stuff going around, especially SEC recruiting. But yeah, a big thing was his health concerns, and then he left and came back, and then left again, came back. So it's just there is some uncertainty in that aspect. And he's also never been an NFL coach, which I don't know how much different that can be, but still.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban didn't do that well when
It
he
can
went
be
to
a
the
big
NFL.
thing. Like, look at Chip Kelly. He was doing like hurry up offense, which is not built for the NFL.
Yeah. Pete Carroll, too. He's really good at in college. But let's move on to Robert Sala and the Jets. What do you guys think about this?
Great hire by the Jets. That guy is all over it. I see him on the sidelines, and he's hype whenever his defense is doing something. That guy just seems like he has great character and a strong sense for
It was
leadership.
a good hire, but you – right.
Wait, what did you say? It cut
Yeah,
out.
Jack, can you repeat what you said before?
He got hired. It was a good hire, but he got hired by the Jets, so probably nothing will go right.
No, the thing is that they're hiring him to improve the situation. I don't know. I don't think that the Jets are that unsavable that hiring Sala will just make it awful.
I think they're going to draft Justin Fields
Adam
now.
Gase before was actually a bad hire because you saw what he had one good season with the Broncos, and then they thought of him as some offensive guru. Like Sala seems like an actual a good hire. This guy can lead teams.
I think they're going to draft Justin Fields.
Well, we're talking about the coach.
Yeah, but I think he will tell him to draft Justin Fields because the unwritten rule.
Yeah, of course that's true actually. That's a good point. When the new coach is hired, what's
because you know how coaches love their own
Sam
quarterbacks?
Darnold.
Yeah, he's probably going to go to a new team.
But since Sala has been hired, there's been growing speculation that the Jets will keep Darnold, although he has said nothing has been finalized, of course. But, I think that's, for focusing on the coach aspect, I think it was a great hire, and he's bringing along the Packers head coach's brother, Mike LaFleur, as the offensive coordinator. And they're doing something interesting. He has the OC and QB coach, Mike LaFleur, and then he has the O-line coach running the O-line and run game. He's the run game coordinator. And then they have another guy that's the passing game coordinator. So they have a bunch of different guys. They're not just letting, Adam Gase call the plays like he did last year. They have a bunch of different guys that he's bringing along, all seem pretty qualified. And he's a defensive guru, really animated. He's the first Muslim American head coach in the NFL history, which is cool.
Yeah.
Well,
really a great hire by the Jets.
Yeah, I think I do think there's nowhere to go but up from this.
Yeah,
even if they keep Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
no, I
actually
support keeping Sam Darnold. Why start a rookie like Justin Fields and feed him to the wolves? And and also, look, he's from Ohio State. And what happened to the last first rounder from Ohio State?
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins not turn out well.
Yeah, he sucked.
Exactly. Instead of mismanaging a first round prospect, why don't we? I would say keep Darnold, have him for a year as a bridge, and then start Fields. Do what they're doing with the guy down behind Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love in Green Bay. Do something like that. You don't need to feed the first rounder to the wolves yet. I think it would be nice to have him. Or I'm not sure how well Sam Darnold could teach Justin Fields. But I don't think it's a great idea to just start him right away.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a mentor. Even watching Sam Darnold in his first season, we had Josh McCown, the Jets had Josh McCown as the backup, and Darnold went down, and then McCown took over for 3 weeks, and then he ended up winning 6 out of the last – or this was 2 years ago, but they ended up winning 6 out of the last 8 games. He certainly looked better after Josh McCown had time to play, and I definitely think having a mentor is could be huge for a quarterback. But people seem to be pretty set on keep Darnold or draft a quarterback and trade Darnold. People aren't really thinking about that like bridge because he's still young. Like he's still on his rookie deal. Like it's just I don't know.
No, people are just too quick to move on, or they're not thinking strategically.
Yeah. Hey, this is
Makes sense.
this is unrelated, but I just looked up Josh McCown. He's actually still on a roster.
Yeah, he's with
He's
the
on
Eagles,
crazy.
right, as like an emergency quarterback.
No,
They
he's on
tried
the
to injure
Texans
him.
now. He's in
He's
Houston.
with the Texans.
I don't know how he got there. Let's check. He was signed to the practice squad back in November.
I think it's a good but back to the whole Sam Darnold and Fields situation. It's definitely the move to keep Darnold and have him for another year. Because, like as Ben was saying, a mentor can be huge for a quarterback. Like, look no further than the Kansas City Chiefs, where you had Alex Smith. I cannot speak enough to this man's character. He's just great. He doesn't sit there and pout when his team drafts another quarterback. He's a champ. He'll mentor. And then look at the product of his mentorship. You had Patrick Mahomes, who was the MVP the very next year. So
and Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick as well.
What about Taylor Heineke, the next season's MVP?
Taylor Heineke played amazing behind Smith.
But he couldn't save Haskins though. That is
well, maybe
that's really
Haskins
saying
was
something.
unsavable. Like that guy actually did not care about playing football.
When you go into strip clubs after a loss, I don't think you really care.
Yeah, when you celebrate after a loss, or when you brag about the amount of yards you passed for after a loss, like come on.
Yeah, that really says something when not even Alex Smith can make you serviceable.
Yeah. And back to the Jets with, the mentorship, whatever. There's growing speculation as well. There's Adam Schefter came out a few days ago and said the Jets are really in a good position to trade for Deshaun Watson.
Because he's not going the Jets. I think he's probably going the Colts or the Patriots.
Yeah, or the Niners or someone. I don't expect them to, but it is a good point that Darnold and the number 2 pick is a ton of value, a ton of value. And if someone wants to trade up, the Jets can trade back, get some more picks, trade Darnold. They can get a lot of value out of that.
No, that's a great point. You're right. They have the number 2 pick. They would be set.
And the number 23rd pick and the number 34th pick. We have 2 first-rounders next year. We have a bunch of picks loaded up that, could be traded.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. But, we should talk about Falcons new hire as well, Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator from the Titans.
I don't think that the offense for the Falcons is as much of a problem as their defense. They seem to have a fine offense.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would have thought. I mean, and he does have an interesting, choice to make as well with Matt Ryan. Fans in Atlanta, I've talked to a bunch of Falcons fans because I'm from Atlanta. Most people are fed up with Matt Ryan and really want to move on.
They should.
He's just good enough to where you might want to keep him a little bit, but yeah, a lot of people I've talked to really want Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or a quarterback.
Yeah, they're probably going to get Zach Wilson because Justin Fields.
Yeah, I see Justin Fields going number 2, but Zach Wilson, a lot of people like Zach Wilson, and I know Justin Fields, honestly, people were kind of, for the Jets spot at least at number 2, people were really thinking Zach Wilson was the guy. And then Fields came in and lit up Clemson and obviously didn't do great in the national championship. But the way he played against Clemson might have earned him a spot to get that number 2 spot.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. The Falcons could also be up for a new QB potentially in the coming years.
People don't think they had that bad of a season, but they ended up with the 4th overall pick. So they very, very easily could get a quarterback with this pick.
Do you think it's the defense over there, or is it actually Matt Ryan's play?
No, it's the defense. But my prediction is they're probably going to get that Devontae Smith guy.
Yeah. I mean, they have Julio right now and Calvin Ridley. So some people want to trade Julio, but still, like a big problem with the Falcons is like Matt Ryan, he'll throw for like one of the most yards in the NFL almost every year. He just can't throw touchdowns. And for some reason in the red zone, they just like there's these weird statistics, I might be able to find one, but about how like little Julio gets the ball in the red zone. It's just like they just don't know how to score touchdowns. It's really the problem. And obviously with the choking, like they blew so many leads every year. It's just terrible. Game management, like just not.
Do you think that choking can be attributed to Dan Quinn though? And now that he's gone, things could change.
Possibly.
100. Like I definitely think so, because it definitely kind of like I'm sure it rattled Matt Ryan too. Once you lose the Super Bowl and everyone's making fun of you, that's like your one thing you don't want to do is choke another lead. So it's just it must have been Dan Quinn's game management or just I don't know, but I definitely think since Arthur Smith and Matt Vrabel have been in Tennessee has shot up. Now they're an elite team. And I think it's interesting in Tennessee what they were able to do was they were able to show that you can have a star running back and you don't need like a star quarterback and still can be successful.
That's so true. Right.
Yeah.
Because all the top paid running backs, they never have won a Super Bowl. Like Zeke and all these people that they paid, Le'Veon when they paid him all this money, like it just wasn't worth it. But Derrick Henry, he's been showing that. You can have a great running back and like a solid quarterback and still be considered one of the better teams.
Yeah,
but the Titans haven't won a Super Bowl yet with that pair.
Yeah,
no, they were 1 yard short from tying one.
Yeah, that was in Atlanta. Dude, that's cool.
Topic of the Titans, the problem with that whole Derrick Henry strategy is when they actually stuff the run game, like the Titans have no answer. And that's where if you had an elite quarterback, they could still compete. But it seems like whenever a team stops the Titans' run game, they're just done with. I think that's what happened in their game against the Ravens.
Yes.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. They held them to 40 yards somehow. And, yeah, I think a big thing is that Ryan Tannehill is also, like, the best play-action passer. And I think that has to attribute to every time you're showing the ball to Derrick Henry, like, the defense has to be ready for that. So then they can pull out a lot of play action. They can run it, like, 5 times, pick up however many yards, use the play action. Like, that's what really helped him out. So when the run's not working, the play action's likely not going to work as well. And, yeah, they don't really have an answer. But it'll be interesting to see what their new offense coordinator does, if it'll be any different, or if Arthur Smith will adopt the same tendencies with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like Arthur Smith made a horizontal move to another team.
Yeah, that brings us to the final hire that we're going to talk about. The Chargers hiring Brandon Staley, who makes the very long journey all the way from SoFi Stadium to SoFi Stadium.
And this is as the head coach?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll tell you my opinion. I think this was a good move because the Rams had the best defense in the league, and he made names other than Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Look, like Michael Brockers stepped up. Leonard Floyd.
Their whole defensive line, it was insane.
They are good, and I think he will improve them. But I don't know how he does with Justin Herbert, possibly.
No, that's a great point. The Rams The Rams had the lowest yards per game for the 2020 season with 281.9, and you're absolutely right. And also, the Chargers have a budding defense. They just never could get it going, because I remember early on in the season they played really well. And they have some good talent, especially on the defensive line. What's that guy's name? He's the brother of the guy who tore his ACL on the 49ers.
Oh, yeah, Joey Bosa.
Yeah, exactly. Joey Bosa. He's a good player. They have some good guys in the secondary. Yeah. I think having a defensive-minded coach will be just enough to mold this young but talented team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad for – oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, some defensive good defense is just what this team needs, because they were ranked pretty low on like defense and like points allowed. They were down at they allowed 26.6 points per game, which is right down there with the Bengals and the Titans.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's great for the Chargers to get rid of Anthony Lynn at last.
Yeah, they had to.
He also blew a ton of leads, same kind of thing, and I really do like this pick this hire because Sean McVay he's not like this defensive genius. He's an offensive genius, and he manages that offense really well. So I really don't think he was doing Brandon Staley definitely led that defense and was the biggest reason why they were so good. So I definitely think it should show with the Chargers. It would have been interesting if they went after an offensive coordinator or QB coach to help Justin Herbert out, but I mean he's progressed really well in 1 year, so it's just there's a lot of
I don't think Justin Herbert needs that much help. He started playing really well towards the end of last season.
Yeah, if they can get him a few weapons, I think they'll be really the Chargers definitely have potential. Like they weren't bad at all. Like they should have won way more games this year than they did. And they went 7-9.
Well, I mean,
they should have. They were leading the Chiefs in the fourth quarter against Patrick Mahomes. Or no, they were leading a Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs. Like they had a legitimate chance to win that game. And I think Anthony Lynn just botched it. Also, against the Saints, they had the opportunity to go for it on fourth down, and Anthony Lynn just took the safe route and punted it.
Yeah, but being better than they actually are is a Chargers tradition. Just like in
Losing
2010.
in the most heartbreaking fashion is what the Chargers tend to do.
Thank you for listening to the Total Bro Sports Podcast.